Paranormal Buzz Radio is proud to present Girls vs. Ghost Media's Spooky Talk with Madison Smith from Madison Paranormal. You can find Spooky Talk every other Sunday, 6 Eastern, 5 Central, right here, live on Paranormal Buzz Radio. Be sure to join in the live interactive chat by going to Spreaker.com or downloading the Spreaker app for all devices.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host, Madison Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Here's Madison.
Hey, I can't hear.
Madison.
Sorry. Once again, my headphones are glitching out.
There you go. Here's Madison, guys.
Alright. From the top. Hi, everyone. I'm Madison Smith, and I'd like to welcome you all to Spooky Talk with Maddie. This week, I had the pleasure of having someone that I have yet to meet. But I know in the future, I hope so, that I will finally meet you. And basically, this week, I had the pleasure of having someone that's having a film, Yes, No, Goodbye, that is a Ouija board documentary. And she is a longtime paranormal enthusiast and filmmaker from San Diego, and owner and founder of Copper Pot Films, LLC, and created the documentary. So let me introduce the awesome Sommer Jonez.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me. So glad to be here.
All right. So, how are you?
I am really tired, to be honest.
Same here. But hey, look at us now.
I know. I'm so glad it's like almost end of the year. Then 2020, start fresh.
Yep. All right. And just a little reminder to anybody who is in the comments, if you have any questions, just type them in, and I will try to get to them. And if I don't get to them, just spam them. I'll see them. All right. Shall we begin the questioning?
Yes, do it.
All right. So how long have you been investigating, and when did you first figure out you wanted to be a paranormal investigator?
So I've been investigating probably pretty frequently for about the last 10 years or so. But I've been interested in the paranormal, since I was your age, Madison, maybe even a little bit younger. And I've just been fascinated by the paranormal, and based on things that happened to me as a kid. I had a paranormal experience when I was in high school that was really traumatizing. And from that moment, I just was super into it and decided to make my own paranormal team. I have out here in the Bay Area, and I'm just all about trying to figure out, what is going on out there? Why are all these people having paranormal experiences and, seeing ghosts or whatever you want to call them, spirits, ghosts, demons, whatever, why is all that happening? And also, what does it all mean? So That's my goal. Hopefully someday we can answer that.
All right. So, were your family okay with you investigating the paranormal, or did they did you just hide it from them completely?
No, I'm pretty open about it. Well, going back to when I had my first experiences when I was a teenager, I remember telling my family about it, and everyone just was like, "Whatever, it's all in your head." It didn't really happen, but I know that it happens, and I wasn't hallucinating. What happened to me was I saw a full body apparition at an old mansion from the 1800s, and this person looked right at me, and I looked right at them, and then they disappeared. So, before that, I wasn't super into or super scared of horror movies where I'd have a freak out after watching a scary movie. It wasn't like that. It was really intense. And so my family didn't really seem to believe me. But as I've gotten older and I started this paranormal group, my family's all about it. My mom loves Dustin Perry and Ghost Hunters. She got to meet him and was fangirling super hard. So they're super supportive of it.
All right. Now a question from Shay. How many films / documentaries do you have?
Well, there's quite a few. My first film was a short film that actually won an award at the Austin City Limits Film Festival in Texas. Is called Don't Let Them Know, and it's an alien abduction story. It was one of my first films that I made early in college. So that was my first one. It's out there on YouTube somewhere floating around. If you go to Copperpot Films on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find it. It's really short. It's 8 or 9 minutes, and it's 1950s alien abduction movie. It's all black and white. It's really funny. And so there's that. There's Yes, No, Goodbye, which is my Ouija board movie. I also have another documentary about punk rock music in the Bay Area. And then my newest film, which is going to be a follow-up to Yes, No, Goodbye, that I'm working on right now. We can talk more about that later. But so basically there's those out there right now. And then I've participated in other people's projects as well, either filming or helping them write, things like that.
All right. So what drew you to the Ouija board, and how old were you when you first used one?
I got my first Ouija board when I was 8 years old. I went to the toy store, went to the game section, and I said, "Ooh, what's that?" And I went right to it. And I went with my grandparents. They didn't know what it was, and they bought it for me. So that was my first Ouija board, and actually it's super funny because I really liked it. I didn't really know much about it. I had not seen The Exorcist or any other movies that had Ouija boards in it, so I wasn't scared of it. I just knew that I really liked it. I liked the way that it looked, and it lived underneath my bed. And so when I tell people that story, they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you had it under where you slept." And I'm like, "Dude, it's a piece of cardboard and plastic. It's fine." But I don't know what it is about the Ouija board. It's so iconic. I like the way it looks. I like the symbols on the board. It's just cool. And I mean, if there's a real chance that you can use this tool to just as a phone to contact the other side, of course, why wouldn't you try to use it? I mean, most people have lost somebody that they love. Wouldn't it be really cool to just pick up a phone and contact your favorite aunt that passed away or whatever, and just be like, "Hey, how's it going?" That's why I really love it.
All right. Were you ever scared to use it, or did you just feel comfortable?
I was pretty indifferent, I guess, about the Ouija board until I started making Yes, No, Goodbye. There's a scene in the film that we shoot in Texas, and the Ouija board that we used there in Texas, I'll tell you this. I do not have that Ouija board anymore. I left it there in Texas. I would not take it back with me because it was really intense what happened there. And for folks that haven't seen the film, you can watch it on Amazon or Vidispace. But if you go to the Texas scene, it's so intense and it happens so fast, and it's like I can't even wrap my brain around what's going on. And I said, I don't want this thing. It just had such creepy, dark energy around it. And everyone that used it was just being weird. And as soon as we got rid of it, it was fine. Everything was fine. So whoever found that in Texas, hopefully you had a better experience than I did. But I don't know what ever happened to it. But I did tape my business card to the back of it, but I never got any calls or emails about it. So who knows what happened to it.
Oh, my. All right. So was that your best experience or story that you've had with one?
No, I would say... I had another experience, and unfortunately I didn't catch it on film. But I was using it with some friends, and it was a very relaxed evening. Like, we weren't trying to do anything special. We weren't trying to film it. We weren't trying to prove if it works or not. We were just kind of messing around with it. We had candles lit, and so one of the girls in the group asked about someone that had passed away that she knew, and all of the candles blew out. And we were like, what the hell? And there was no breeze or anything, but here's the creepiest part, Madison. Those freaking candles, they lit back.
Oh, nope.
And when that happened, I was like, I'm out of here. Like, I'm all about trying to seek the truth and figure out this paranormal thing and like what it all means. But that moment I was like, no. Like, something lit something on fire. I'm out of here. And I never used the board again with that group of people.
Like, I wouldn't have either.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
No, thank you. Like, that Ouija board can stay. I don't want it. Same with the candles.
No, I never touch that thing again.
They can keep it. They can keep it. Just keep it away from me. All right. So, for those who don't know you very well, would you like to let people know about the documentaries you have done about Ouija boards?
Yeah, definitely. So, the one I think most people know me for is Yes, No, Goodbye. And basically it's not a typical paranormal documentary. Like, if you saw the Ghost Adventures original documentary, like, that's not what my movie is. Like, my movie is more of a road trip movie, I guess, where we go and travel across the country and we talk to different types of people about the Ouija board and what their experiences are with the Ouija board. Meanwhile, trying to figure out, for me and the people in my film, if we can get it to work in a way that it does not leave us skeptical. So, for example, I brought my friend Josh Hurd along with me, and most people know him from the Malvern Manor out there in Iowa. So he's super grounded and honest. And so I knew if that board worked with him, I knew he wasn't the one pushing it, the planchette, and he knew I wasn't the one pushing it. And so that was really the whole movie was taking our film crew across the country and seeing what other people's experiences were and what they could share with us to help us use the Ouija board. Kind of jump-start it and make it our Ouija board sessions really fruitful. So we set out and we talked with the Ouija board experts out there, like Robert Murch and the Talking Board Historical Society. We went to a Ouija Con, which was out in Baltimore, which is where Ouija board was born. We went to New Orleans and spoke with the voodoo priestess, Bloody Mary. We talked to a coven of witches out in eastern Texas. So just a bunch of different people, and got their perspective on the Ouija board. And it was awesome. It's such a fun project. And there were definitely some head-scratching moments with Josh and I. Even one of our other cast members, Alejandro, he actually quit in the middle of filming because of what happened in Texas. So like I mentioned earlier, if you guys haven't seen the film, there's a really intense moment in Texas where he's speaking supposedly to his dead grandmother, and he's speaking to her in Spanish, and we don't know what he's asking, but every answer he gets is very shocking for him. And so he actually quit the project. So it was pretty intense, and it was filmed over the course of 3 years. So a lot of work went into it. And so that's probably my biggest project. And so that was such an intense experience. I decided to follow it up with a second documentary. And it basically takes the idea of the Ouija board and develops it further, and puts basically a person, a human body into the equation as the actual Ouija board and planchette. So basically we call it the kill sense experiment, where we take away someone's sight and sound. So you can't see, you can't hear what's going on. And then another person will ask questions of the spirits that are around.
All right.
And the way the spirit will answer is by touching you. But you don't know what the question is, right? So if I say, yes, touch the right shoulder. No is touch the left shoulder. And we've been filming that at different places, Malvern, Iowa, one of them, which is really where this whole idea came from, because Malvern is just a crazy haunted location. And so it's really just taking the Ouija board and the idea of it and seeing if you can transfer that idea to other things. I mean, some people already do that now, right, with their EVP sessions. That's not any different than using a Ouija board. It's just a different tool, but you're trying to get the same outcome, right? You're trying to communicate with someone on the other side.
Yeah. All right. So I personally had an experience at a residence where a couple of young adults were messing around with one and didn't close the door behind them, basically, and something was messing with the boy. I had another group with me, and they closed the door. I ended up taking the Ouija board home with me and had strange noise and scratching happen till it was disposed of by another group. So basically, I know which they had, buried it somewhere. I'm not sure where. I just know that they did. What do you think of that?
What I think of that is, if you can find out where they buried it and have them dig it up and send it to me, I would love to have that. Is what I would like. People have different experiences with the Ouija board, and I've never had an experience as intense as that. When I say things have happened with the Ouija board, it usually was happening to other people. So like in my film, Alejandro was having the bad experience. When I used it with my friends and the candles lit, they were the ones asking the question. I was just like an observer. So yeah, that's why I'm so fascinated by it, because I haven't had that experience. And so, I would love to be in that situation where I see something like that, because I want to get to the bottom of it. I want to know why you had that experience. Was it because somebody is really trying to get your attention, and maybe it seems scary, scratching sounds or whatever, but maybe that's the only way they know how to get a hold of you. Maybe that's the only way they know how to communicate. There's so many unknowns. I'm not necessarily scared by it. I think it's very intriguing, and I personally would want to know more. Why is that happening? Where is it coming from? Who is it? Mm-hmm. What is it?
All right. So who's your favorite person that you have contacted using the Ouija board?
My favorite person. Okay, this is going to sound crazy. Right. So it's not a person, but at WouijaCon, I met this guy named Barry Strom. and
Okay.
he makes his own spirit boards, and he let me use his, and we used it together, and he contacted a, God, this sounds so funny saying it out loud. He contacted an alien with the Ouija board.
Oh my.
Allegedly, right? So, and also this alien, I guess, was dead. So, it's really weird. Okay, so it sounds crazy, but the questions and answers we got were insane. I mean, they were absolutely insane. I was testing this guy, like asking him questions that he would no way in shape or form know the answer to, and he got every single one of them right. Like for example, I was like, okay, spell my grandmother's middle name. Okay, like I don't post my grandmother's name like on the internet, and he knew like in seconds with spelling it out. So it's pretty crazy.
All right. All right, so I know my mom is not a big fan of the Ouija board, but I do have a few, but I don't use them without someone who is more knowledge on them. Cough, cough, Sarah Stream. But in your opinion, what is your opinion on using one? What should beginners be aware of when they do use it?
Yeah, I think with the Ouija board, nobody really has all the answers to what's going on. I mean, not just with the Ouija board, but anything in general going around paranormal phenomena. Because we don't have all the answers, I think the number one sort of tip I have is to be respectful of the tool that you're using. So, when I use the Ouija board, I'm not like, hey, ghost, do what I say. I'm like, hey, my name's Summer. What's your name? I try to introduce myself. I try to be respectful. At the end, when I'm wrapping up my session, whether it's Ouija board or whatever, EVP session, whatever it is, I'm like, hey, thanks for talking with me. Just so you know, you're not invited into my life in any way, shape, or form. You do you, I do me. We go our separate ways. And that's that. And I think, for people that are scared of the Ouija board or haven't used one before, I think if you just keep an open mind and be respectful, the outcome should be pretty positive, I think. I've had definitely more positive results than negative when I've used the Ouija board.
All right. So, who would you consider the person who has mentored you the most through it?
So regarding the use of the Ouija board, I would say I learned a lot, like a ton, from the folks at the Talking Board Historical Society. I mean, I've learned so much about the history of the Ouija board, why it was made, where it came from, and then just getting that like sort of background on the Ouija board. I didn't know anything about them when I started this project. And then, I would say that I also learned a lot from Bloody Mary. And even though she's a voodoo priestess, and voodoo and Ouija boards aren't usually used together, it's kind of like, using a voice recorder on top of another voice recorder. It's like you've got your tool. You don't really need the same tool. So they kind of approach speaking with the dead in a little bit different terms. But what I learned from her was, a lot about that respect and opening up the board and closing the board when you're done. And she really, drove that concept home with me. And so I really appreciated that time with her.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what is your most favorite place to investigate and why?
I would have to say probably I have two places. So in the Midwest, I really love Malvern Manor. Like, I've had the craziest experiences there. And I wrote about it in the journal. So if you ever go back there and look at the journals, like somewhere in there's this whole like thing of what happened, and we wrote it all down. But Malvern Manor is crazy, and I'm so glad that Josh Hurd is running that place. And letting people investigate, because there's some creepy stuff going on there. It's definitely a gem. And then on the West Coast where I live, we investigate the USS Hornet, which is a World War II aircraft carrier. We investigate it all the time, like monthly. And we help with ghost tours there and stuff. And that place is amazing. I've had so many experiences there. I can't even count. Anywhere from, full-bodied apparitions to, disembodied voices, shadow figures. I mean, you name it, it's happened there. And so, I'd say those two are my top two favorite places.
All right. And then Shay, once again, ask, what is your worst experience using a board?
My worst experience. Well, I'll tell you this. I wouldn't say anything necessarily that horrible happened to me directly because of using the Ouija board, but a lot of weird things happened to me while I was filming and using Ouija boards in general. So, like, for example, when I left Baltimore after WouijaCon, I had a suitcase full of Ouija boards that had been signed by all kinds of people well-known in the paranormal community, like Dave Schrader and Bob Murch and Chip Coffey and all these guys. And so I had that board, and I had a bunch of other boards that I bought from people, and some other things in my luggage. And my luggage, I have never seen it again. It was lost. I never found it. I got to the airport. I'm like, where's my bag? And the airline never found it. So I don't know who has my luggage full of Ouija boards, but I hope someday we're reunited. Other things happen too, like missed flights, broken airplanes, a lot of it with traveling, just weird stuff like that. But I wouldn't say anything specific happened that, makes me not want to use Ouija boards. Just weird stuff has happened.
All right. Also, Shay, what is one object in the whole world you would never want to be haunted?
An object that I don't want to be haunted.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably I think it's pretty creepy when mirrors are haunted because you have to look in the mirror, right? Fix your hair, brush your teeth, whatever. I don't want to look in my mirror and see a face staring back at me that is not my own. That is super creepy and would make me never want to look at mirrors again. And I've definitely had weird moments. Haunted mirror. Actually, in Texas, when we filmed, there was supposedly in that house that we filmed in, there was a haunted mirror. And it was super creepy just standing by it. It seemed weird. It seemed like that mirror could see into your soul. And I was not a fan of that. So I would say mirrors are super creepy to be haunted.
All right. So have you ever been freaked out at an investigation by something that happened? And what was it, basically?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the one and only time I ever ran out of an investigation happened at the Malvern Manor. We were there. I think it was our second time there, our second day there. And nothing was really happening. And it was about 1 a.m. And I was like, man, I'm really tired. I think I might wrap it up for the night. And we're sitting in the kitchen and we're just talking and having drinks and snacks. And all of a sudden this figure in a wheelchair comes rolling up towards us. And
oh, heck no.
It was Madison, this was so crazy. And I wrote about it in Josh's journal there at Malvern. So this old guy in a wheelchair rolls up to us in the kitchen. And then as soon as we see him, he's gone. And we jumped out, because we were sitting on the counter, we jumped off the counter and ran out the door. And then we collected ourselves. We're like, oh my God. Okay. We all saw that. We went back inside and one of our team members was like, hey, I remember I was looking in a scrapbook. I wonder if that guy is in the scrapbook. And it was a scrapbook of all the old patients that had been there when it was used as a nursing home. And sure enough, she found the photo. of the guy that we all saw. And his name was Harry Wallace, and I wrote it down in that journal. And that was the scariest thing I think has ever happened. It was so creepy, and we ran out of there that night, and we didn't stay the night. We didn't come back till the next day. We were like, forget that. I'm not going to be in there, and this ghost is rolling up to us in his wheelchair trying to talk to us. It was way too close for comfort. You know, like it was too intense, and it was just out of the blue. Like, we weren't trying to get him to talk to us. He just was like, hey, I'm here.
Well, first off, heck no.
Right.
Like, just no thanks. All right. So, do you have any bucket lists of locations that you would like to be at?
You know, I'd really like to get out to the Hinsdale house and hang out with Dan Clace a little bit out there in New York. I know that place is supposed to be pretty active. But really, I think for me, what I would like to go to and see is I'd like to go someplace new that, like, has not been on Ghost Adventures or Paranormal Lockdown or Ghost Hunter or any of those shows. Like, I want to go somewhere new and be that, you know, that team that finds this, like, sort of gem, like how Josh was able to find Malvern Manor. You know, I want to find the next Malvern Manor, and that's my bucket list, like finding that place. So I'm super into just like urban exploring and trying to find like old buildings and historical places that maybe have some value, and some activity, and I hope to find that someday.
All right. So, is there anyone that you really wanted to investigate with?
Well, obviously you. Like, we have got to investigate together sometime. I think that'd be fun. And I mean, really, as far as like paranormal, like celebrities, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've met most of those guys, and they're super awesome. But I like investigating with people that are just really passionate about it, and like, you know, don't do this maybe for TV, but just do it because they love it, and they want those experiences, and they want to, you know, get down to the bottom of things. So, you know, anybody that's like-minded that really wants to know the truth and that kind of thing, like I'm all for it. I investigate with people that I've never met before all the time. Like, I've traveled around the world just for my other work, and I usually try to meet up with people who are into the paranormal and go investigate places. And I've met some really cool people, like in Australia and New Zealand, even in Europe, out in London. I did Highgate Cemetery with a group of strangers, and I was just like, hey, like, I'm a ghost hunter from America. Like, let's do this thing. And that's what I love doing is just meeting new people and figuring out different styles and, you know, what we're all into, and just learning about different people's experiences.
All right. So what are your thoughts of younger investigators getting into the field like myself?
I think it's awesome. I think that the field is due for some freshness, I'd say. So I look forward to young investigators kind of developing their own style, maybe figuring out their own tools or bringing new tools into the game. It's always good to have a fresh set of eyes. You know, it's like, it gets pretty boring when it's the same people doing the same things all the time, you know, sitting around in the dark with your voice recorder, asking the same questions. Like, that's cool, and it gets results. But I like seeing like some fresh takes on things. Like I'm really into that new show with Dakota Layden. Like, I like what they're doing out there, Destination Fear style. I think it's exciting, and it's a nice take on things that people have already been doing before. So, so I look forward to it. Like, I can't wait to see what you do, Madison. And like, you know, maybe you're going to be on your own show one of these days and doing all kinds of cool stuff and going to cool places.
All right. So I know you added a couple new special people to your family not so long ago. Just wondering how they are doing.
Yeah, this, I mentioned earlier I was tired because I just had two twins, and they're almost 5 months old now. They're crazy, awesome, and I'm just loving it. It has taken me a little bit away from filmmaking, but it's all good, and I'm excited. I'm excited for when they get older and they're like, "Hey, mom, like, can we go ghost hunting?" I'm like, "Yes, let's be that ghost hunting family. Like, let's be the Addams family of ghost hunters."
All right. So now it's time for shout-outs. So would you like to shout out your, your social medias, anything?
Yeah, for sure. So let's see. Folks can find me on Instagram. It's Sommer Jonez. Or actually, I think it's The Sommer Jonez on Instagram. Facebook is just Sommer Jonez. You can go to talkingboardmovie.com, and that's will let you learn or teach you all about Yes, No, Goodbye. And then I'll start posting little sneak peeks at part 2 to that film, Kill Sense Experiments. That should be coming out soon. I've already posted a couple of clips on YouTube. So if you go to Copperpot Films on YouTube, you can find those. You can find trailers for the films. What else? Twitter, Sommer Jonez on Twitter. So basically just Sommer Jonez. I'm all over the place. YouTube, Twitter, Instagrams, Snapchat, all those good things. And I love talking to people about paranormal. So people are listening, have questions, hit me up.
All right. So, do you like games?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so maybe not as fun as the Ouija board, but it's still fun, all right? So right now I'm going to be timing you and see how long it takes you to get through these cards. All right?
Okay.
All right. Let me get my timer. All right. Stopwatch. All right. Are you ready for rapid fire with Maddie?
Okay.
All right. What's your greatest achievement?
Being a mom.
Last time you got scared?
Last month at the USS Hornet.
Where do you go to relax?
My couch and watching Food Network.
Where is the worst place you could get stuck at?
Ugh, the airport.
Who is your favorite person to investigate with?
Josh Hurd.
What is the one thing you're most scared of?
Oh man. That's tough. I don't know. I don't know. That's tough.
If you were a superhero, what would your superpower be?
Probably flying.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how cool are you?
Oh God, I'm probably like a 3. I think I'm a nerd.
Cough, cough, you're a 9. What is your favorite addiction?
LaCroix mineral water.
All right. What is your favorite song?
Oh, Michael Jackson Thriller.
All right. If you could be any animal, what would it be?
Ooh, any animal.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know, probably a cool bird. Because you can fly and look at stuff from way up high.
You really like flying, don't you?
Yeah, well, I don't like being on airplanes, but it'd be a lot cooler if I could just fly there myself.
True. What is your favorite movie quote?
Probably from Pulp Fiction. Royale with cheese. That line, that whole line in Pulp Fiction. I love it.
All right. Who do you admire most?
That's tough. I admire just the regular like moms and dads out there that like do the parent thing, do the work thing, and make time to do like their passions, like ghost hunting or whatever, if they're into baseball or whatever they're into. Those are the people I admire, because that's tough. It's real tough, as I've been learning.
What is your dream job?
Dream job? Probably working with some awesome filmmaker like Steven Spielberg.
All right. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Man, this is tough, Madison. 3 words. Sports. I love sports.
All right.
Paranormal, obviously. And I don't know. Music. I love music.
All right. Real bacon or the fake bacon? In quotations, turkey bacon.
Oh, I'm a vegetarian, so I go fake bacon all the time.
Wow. All right. Dogs or cats?
Dogs, 100%.
Horror or adventure movies?
Horror.
Late nights or early mornings?
Nights.
Pizza or tacos?
Ooh. Oh, that's tough. Probably pizza.
Ooh. All right. DC or Marvel?
Oh, that's tough too, because I really love Batman, but Marvel Universe is dope. Let's go Marvel.
All right. Pie or cake?
Pie. Pumpkin pie.
Winter or summer?
Well, summer, obviously.
Soda or pop?
I don't know what pop is. In my neck of the woods, we call it soda.
Do you like to be called ghost hunter or ghost investigator?
Either one. Doesn't matter.
Favorite ice cream?
Probably pistachio.
All right. Now, do you like ice cream or custard more?
Ice cream. We don't really get custard out on the West Coast.
Wow. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Creamy or chunky peanut butter?
Creamy.
Who is your favorite superhero?
Probably Batman.
If a movie was made of your life, who would play you?
Oh my god. Somebody funny, like Kate McKinnon.
All right. What's your favorite hobby besides paranormal?
Anything sports. I'll watch any sport or play any sport.
All right. Twizzlers or Starburst?
Oh, Starburst, but not the yellow ones.
Residential or commercial investigations?
Commercial. There's a lot of people that are crazy out there.
Now, the hardest one. Are there human ghosts underwater?
Are there ghosts underwater?
Yeah.
Why not? Sure.
All right. You got 5 minutes, 59 seconds, and 31 milliseconds. Good job.
Is that good? Is that above average?
Well, you did better than Rob. He took like 12 minutes.
Oh my god, that's so long. It's supposed to be rapid fire, not slow fire.
Exactly! Alright. Well, I'm starting to see the Shadow Man rounding the corner, telling me that our time is almost over. I would really like to thank Summer for taking time out of her busy schedule to come on and chatting with myself and my listeners here on Spoopy Talk. So you have a great night.
Thank you, guys.
All right. So now, for all my listeners out there, I would really like to say thank you for being with me tonight. This will be my last show of 2019, but I am already getting a great group of guests for 2020. So with that, make sure, if you're not following me, give me a follow at Madison Paranormal Investigation on Facebook and Maddie_Paranormal_Investigation on Instagram. So for tonight, peace, love, and happiness. And most of all, be spoopy, everyone.